So yeah, so you just go and audition, and based off of that and grades and all that, they'll decide if you got in.
All right.
And so I auditioned to be a literary, which is a writer, basically. And that's the only one I auditioned for. And wrote something, grades were already okay, and then I got in.
I wouldn't just say your grades are okay, you know. I want to let everybody know you get your lip flex in.
I mean, yeah, I had a 4.0, it was good.
I mean, a 4.0 is just good, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
if I were
kind of a genius, you know?
If I were myself, then I would think that was really, really something to brag about. But knowing who I am now and knowing what real life is like,
yeah,
that 4.0 does not matter as much as like what you learned getting to the 4.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a 4.0.
All right, so not actually tell me about MSA, because, going to MSA, you get this certain kind of stigma about the kids to go there, and then, there's a lot to go into it, and then when you actually go there, I know it's kind of like a lot of competition there. Everybody's coming there for a certain concentrating of something, and then mixing with new people. It's kind of actually like college before you go.
Honestly, that's really what it was like. I think it was a mixture of like freshman year of college and going to a private school because we all lived on campus. Yeah. Even though I was from Brookhaven, I still chose to live on campus. But yeah, it was very different to be around people that I did not grow up with. I think it was only one other person from Brookhaven High, or two other people from Brookhaven High who actually went over there. So I knew those two people, but we're in different things, because there's writers, there's painters or artists, drawing artists, music artists, actors. Now they have like media people or media classes and things like that. So everyone's doing something different, but we all were there for the same purpose, which is to grow our art. And I guess that kind of like is what the school's foundation is just kind of projecting or pushing your art out in a very creative and guided way. And that was fun, Obviously that was like, you're still in high school.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. In college, like you're still in high school, so you still gotta abide by certain rules, and you're not necessarily free to do whatever you want to do, but you have as much creative freedom as you could ever think of.
Okay. So what were like some of your highlights of MSA?
My highlights of MSA. Highlights of MSA would be winning awards for my writing. That was pretty cool because I think as an artist, to a degree, we seek some kind of validation to make sure that, because there's some people who do it because they're really talented and it's a hobby, and there are other people like who go to our school who wanted to make it a career. So one way that we were validated was by our work being accepted by other people or professionals and judges and all that. So having my work validated was a highlight my junior and senior year. And a lot of the friends that I made, the family that I made, that I'm still in contact with today. That was pretty cool.
I mean, you had family coming up there check on you, you think it was like
well, yeah, I mean, I had y'all coming up there, but that's the thing about being at MSA and working towards a goal that was different from a traditional high school. Is that everyone there connected on the same wavelength as like, this is our art. It's respectable, it's fun, but this is what we do. And then you and everyone else, like we were homies, like we were family. So like it's like kind of like mixing business and pleasure at the same time. So that's kind of how it felt. So I was glad that the friends always came to see me, but at the end of the day, y'all would leave and everyone else would stay and we just keep working.
So now pivoting over, you going out to Howard University. How's that process for you? And staying there for a year and then transferring up over?
Yeah, I really say that Howard, being in DC itself, I feel like that's where I was like born again in a sense, because that's where I saw the creative world in play, because it's one thing to have a great school like MSA in Mississippi, but it's tough to see a future in that art when you don't see a lot of people doing that, So to go to DC, where there's art everywhere, everyone's doing it, and then to go to a HBCU university where people are like, it's not only okay to like work in media,
Yeah.
You know, it's more than okay to be black and express yourself and all this and all that, and see that from day one was like a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But then it was also cool to be like, no matter what you do, this is a very accepting environment. Obviously, there are little parameters that get in the way because you're on a university campus. But for the most part, you had the chance to do and be whoever you wanted to be, and so it was real cool. But I did not think much about the idea of moving from Mississippi to DC because I have never really felt tied down to Mississippi. Like I was never somebody who wanted to stay in Mississippi. I felt like I would leave eventually anyway.
Yeah.
And it was basically immediately.
Mm-hmm. So with that being, what all went into the factors if you going out to Howard?
Well, with respect to the other people involved, I went to Howard for the wrong reason. I went because I was chasing a love of mine, and we went to school together, and that that whole relationship thing fizzled out. And then I was kind of like stuck in DC, and I'm like, now what am I going to do? Because I came here for a reason. Now that reason's not here. But I still see that as like a blessing in disguise, or I guess a silver lining, was the fact that I was in almost like the mecca of the U.S. because there's just so much diversity in DC. And so I went there for the wrong reason, but I stayed long enough for the right reason.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I came back is because of just family situations.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a tough decision to go. It was tougher to leave.
Yeah. So what all went into you picking your major and stuff? How did you know exactly what you wanted to do?
Well, I didn't, honestly. I thought I wanted to work. I thought I wanted to have an English degree.
Yeah.
I knew at that moment, towards the end of my senior year, that I really enjoyed poetry and spoken word and things like that. So I was like, I'm going to be a poet of some kind. But it's real hard to be a poet unless you're just out there on a national stage.
Yeah.
But while I was there in DC, I was like learning about competitions and all that kind of stuff. But I was realizing that you don't really need an English degree to do these things. And so I was thinking of like, okay, maybe I'll try something else. But I was just trying to nitpick and find a specific path for myself, because I was realizing that English was just teaching me about literature and things like that. And it's very good to have a background in it. To understand it, but as far as going forward, I realized I didn't need it. And then I found out they actually have a film and television degree, and I was like, oh snap! Not only do I want to do poetry, but I want to be on the national stage. But in order to get there, it would be good to know how to film myself and do that kind of thing, and to go out and see events. And that's when I started to get into the mindset of like working in film, writing out things, getting other people involved, and then I saw the degree for it, and I switched from English to TV and film, and I didn't stay there long enough to really see the TV and film part of it, but I saw a lot of the media classes and talked to a lot of they brought a lot of people in, and it was a real fun experience.
All right. So going off and you choosing English at first, then you come back over going into like more of a media field.
Yeah.
So how was that whole process as far as here, like family and everything and friends? I know most people just think of you read Daniel and some more people thinking that he's gonna be a politician, he's gonna be a doctor, he's gonna be a lawyer.
Not too far off. Daniel is a lawyer.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, just a group of y'all.
Yeah, and I didn't really think of it at the time, but we were viewed that way. I don't want to say it like that, but we're kind of viewed as like the smartest kids in our class. And that's cool, and we were smart to a degree, but I think of us three, we have branched off into things we care about. Even though Daniel is like going to law school and all that, like that sounds like academic, but that's something that, and it's in his personality to be that way. And I'm happy for him because he could have been a doctor like his dad, but he didn't. And I haven't been able to keep up with Reed too much, but even though he's literally in Starkville with me.
Yeah, I think he's trying to be a politician.
Yeah, and see the way Reed talks.
Yeah,
you can kind of see that. Not that he smoozes people or anything, but he just thinks in that kind of way. Like he has a general view of things, and it's really nice. So I think, and with me, I don't know, I've just kind of have my hand in a bunch of different things like since I was younger. So I think we all just kind of grew into our personalities, which were outside of other people's views and expectations, and for better or for worse. But that's kind of like what we've done, you know.
Okay. So how did you choose Mississippi State once you came back from Howard?
That was a family decision because going to Howard, it was very fun, but it was not about being at Howard University. It was everything that came with the university. And with that being said, the actual university that I went to did not matter as much as like what I could get from it. So I wasn't one of those people who was like, is it gonna be Ole Miss, is it gonna be Mississippi State, is it gonna be Southern Miss and all that kind of stuff. It was like, you know, what is close enough, you know, like what's just whatever, it didn't matter. And it just so happened that at the time that I came back, I had a cousin that was at Mississippi State, and I had gone to Mississippi State with him a few times, and I was familiar with Mississippi State, so I ended up going to Mississippi State, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I had no desire to just go to Mississippi State.
So how has Mississippi State helped you out and shaped you so far?
It's been a great opportunity for me to see the difference between living in the city and living in the South, and to realize that I was kind of built to live in a city environment. So it's kind of fueled my passion to leave. But also, like, with being here, a lot of my professors have been very helpful with like progressing my writing and my art forward. But there was one teacher in particular that has helped me the most, and it wasn't even with arts. She was my chemistry teacher. And one day, it might be, I don't want to be a long story, but basically, we all had failed an exam. Every single, not just in our class, but just in the chemistry department, we all failed. And but we all felt like it was the professor's fault that we failed. And so we kind of felt some type of way about it. And we were saying, like, we got a class, she was kind of asking, like, what happened? And we were just kind of telling her what happened or what we thought had happened. Like, it was your fault, basically. And she just stopped everything. And she was like, college is, coming to these classes, whether you're, a chemistry major or whatever you do, like, that's not the most important thing. It's not, the most important thing is not really to understand these chemical equations. The most important thing about college is learning how to think critically. And if you can get that out of college, it doesn't matter what your degree is, it doesn't matter what your grades are, but if you can go into the actual world and know how to think properly, then you will be fine. So stop blaming other people for your lack of critical thinking, you know? So, and that taking that, I would never gotten that had I not come to Mississippi State. And that was something that I got my sophomore year, so freshman year at Mississippi State was sophomore year. And I just kind of carried that with me with pretty much everything that I've done.
Okay. And then this word just so pivotal for me, just seeing you go out like this, but you went straight out to the West Coast, down to California.
Yeah, so the more I started to get into the art that I wanted to do and realizing, like, I want to work in film, I need to work in film, there is no film around here, the more I started to realize that I needed to leave, in a sense, because it would be fine to work here, but I just need to get the education for it.
Yeah.
So I came back to Mississippi State for a year, and then I was like, I need to take some time off to go and get an education. And partly it was because I needed to know that I wanted to do this. Be in the real world, actually do it. It was also with theater. And I was like, I want to make sure I want to do this based off of actually working in the field. And so first, I actually went to North Carolina for half a year. Yeah. And I was working there in the theater, and it was real fun, real cool. And while there, I met someone who knew someone at a theater in California.
Yeah. And
she was like, you're doing really well here. If you want to continue on down this path, I know someone who has this open position. This company has an open position. If you're interested in it, you should apply and then go. So she sent it to me, and I applied, and I was like, Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
And I had to think for a second because I was like, North Carolina is like a few hours away from Mississippi, so it's not that. It's a train ride away. But California is a plane ride away. And even when I went to DC, I drove to DC, 18 hours, but nonetheless we drove. So it was like, we felt like it was in distance. But California has always felt like the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So I had to think for a second, like, wow, I'm really about to go to California. And I told my mom that I'm about to go to California, and she was upset because I was leaving school, but she was happy that I was doing something that I felt was right for myself. And so that's pretty much what happened. I called, had the interview with the theater, learned a little bit about it, and got the position while I was in North Carolina. Made some money from a plane ticket, and then I just flew.
But then you just think about that. You just going all the way to California, the highest, they got the highest taxes up over there, totally different. Like, do you have any family up there?
Not that I know of.
So you going out with no families, totally new, totally blew up over there.
Yeah.
So what was like some of your thought process? Just like, I am going over by myself. I ain't never been before. I don't know nobody out there. It's just taking this chance.
Oh, it never really felt like it felt like I was taking a leap. But again, like when I started to realize that I wanted to work in media, that I wanted to work in film, it was inevitable that I would end up in California anyway. And again, I've never felt tied to Mississippi. Like I've never tied to Brookhaven, which was okay for me to move to Starkville, 3 hours away. And then when I moved to 18 hours away to DC, it wasn't tough being away from Mississippi or being away from family. I've just never been really tied down like that. And so that helped me know that traveling is really important to me, and going places would not be a burden on me. So it wasn't so much of leaving one state to the other side of the world that was an issue. It was like, now that I'm here, like now what do you do? And that was a learning process. But just being honest, every state is the same. Yeah. It's just, are you going to see a larger conglomerate of it, or is it going to be a small town environment? And luckily, I lived in Sacramento, so it was kind of like an easy city to get to know, but it's also like the capital of California. So it wasn't hard. It was just fun. Fun.
So what the heck, you paying $500,000 for every month?
No, I worked in theater, so I got paid nothing. Now I got paid with passion. That's what I paid. No, it's real tough working in theater. Yeah. Not just for the money, but it is a lot of dedication, which is the reason why I wanted to do it, because it's one thing to say you want to work in film, and it's another thing, or theater, or an art, and it's another thing to do it. Yeah. We were literally working like 15-hour days kind of thing, weeks at a time in a row sometimes. And then we do things called like 8 out of 10, sometimes out of 12, which is essentially just checking every single thing about the show before we actually start running the show. Like sometimes we do that till like 2, 3 in the morning. There were times where like we did a set for a show, and I don't want to come off as like I'm bad mouthing the theater. This is just like how it works.
Yeah, I definitely understand.
Like we had this whole idea for something, and it was working kinda, and then it stopped working, and then it's like we need to change this, but the show is about to start in like 2 days, and we literally like remodeled the entire set in like a couple hours. So it was supposed to be a moving platform. We stabilized it. The floor was supposed to be painted a certain way. We repainted it. We repainted the set. Put some screws in places. We changed the things that fly into the set to make it all special and spectacle and all that. Like we changed those things up. So we did a lot. But you start with this idea, and within a couple hours, it completely changed. And sometimes you just gotta deal with that. And for me, this kind of felt like a life lesson. Like going to DC, I thought I was gonna be in DC. To this day, I think DC is the best place I've ever lived. I love DC, but somehow I ended up in California. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm in California, but then I end up in Mississippi again. Yeah. So California taught me how to deal with curveballs. Working at the theater taught me how to think very quickly on your feet in professional world and also in your personal life. So it was a really good experience that way.
Right. I'm telling you, was like inspiration for so many people done just in the time. Cause I'm just listen, just so. Like first went off to Howard, so at first like my boy Bird off at Harvard, and everybody thought you was at Harvard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Bird told me you was going to Howard. No, my boy's at Harvard. You ain't about to disrespect my man. He at Harvard. Yeah, he about to go get this degree. He about to be this guy. Yeah. I'm like, my boy's at. I mean, he said he could have, but now I'm just saying.
Actually, I didn't get accepted to Harvard. I got accepted to Yale.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Everybody thought you was at Harvard for like your time at Howard.
Yeah.
Now he wants to go to HBCU. I guess. No. Everybody just like, nah. It's Harvard. We ain't taking nothing else.
Yeah.
Just let it be there.
Yeah.
So they thought you was there. Then like, I feel like I can do something. I really feel
right.
my boy at Harvard. I feel people from the hood like I feel like at least he at Harvard. I at least can make it to the Lynn. You know what I'm saying? He made people go to Roland College.
Yeah.
Then you come back, stay for a year, go to state. I'm a boy at state now. You know, trying to be halfway across the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come back, then boy go to Cali. And then everybody like, dang, Brian doing a thing. You here 1 year, here the next year, now y'all doing this thing. You know, he out there, my boy might be on TV now. So he like, everybody like, dang, Brian doing this, he doing that, and doing this.
Yeah.
Then just saying like, dang, Vernon been out here to DC, came back, Sacramento. You know, you went to North Carolina. Yeah. I'm like, God damn, we're out here traveling. Yeah. And that time my mind wasn't as expanded as it was now, and I was more of a small town man. You know what I'm saying? So I went straight to the Lynn. And then actually, if I don't become straight out of high school, I actually went out of state. Now that I think about it. You know, look back on it. But there's a solution for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, we don't know that many people who like just kind of.
Yeah, most, especially from Brookhaven, is really 3 schools you go to.
Yeah. You
go to Ole Miss, State, or go to Coleman.
Yeah.
So them 3 options if you coming out of Brookhaven.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, some kids go to Southern Miss, but not too many.
Well, I equate those years, because when you think about it, that would happen in about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I see it as it was my way of figuring out myself.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the way that I needed to do it was traveling to different places. You know, it's kind of like, when LeBron was in the league, the first 4 years, they said those were really his college years because he came straight out of high school. I'm not LeBron, but like the point is like, I needed to do that the same way he needed to go to the league instead of going to college. And I needed to be out in the real world as opposed to just staying in college. And but yeah, I didn't really think about that. That's real nice.
So actually, would have did that thing. So I would have went out here and probably was stamped for a year. Came back, went to a FAMU, then transferred over somewhere else. Probably I don't even know where the third place I would have went. But then initially I would have came back here, JSU.
Yeah.
I would have went to like 4 different schools. I learned something new about the major city every day.
I couldn't do that.
But you done did it. You'd have been to 3.
I went to states. I went to see.
Hold on. Sacramento. What is that?
Okay.
Capital.
I went to the capital. Yes.
DC. Capital of the United States.
Yes.
Where you at? North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Where you was at in there?
I was in Charlotte.
Ain't that the capital? I'm not too familiar with North Carolina, but I think that's the capital, right?
But what I mean is like, you just said that you would have gone to like 4 different universities, right?
You know what I'm saying? But now look what them universities at. Stanford.
Right, yeah. I guess there is something about being in the right place. It doesn't have to be the right time, but like really just being in the right place, Because I didn't feel like I was in the right place at the right time for any of those, adventures in a sense. I just kind of did it. And it just so happened that it was the right decision to make.
I mean, you all worked out. You back here, you fine and dandy.
Yeah, I'm good.
Tell me, what was the hardest part of you just like you was on campus up at Howard and State, but when you went out there, you took a year off. Now you 19, 20, you on your own. You got in California. I know the cost of living extremely high. You in theater. So how was that?
It was tough because, like I said, you're working in theater, and we did a lot of things, but we technically were kind of interns. We were interns, so you get paid an intern salary, which is enough to keep roof over your head. But that's it. So there were a lot of days, and maybe this is just because of me, but I literally lived off of sausage and biscuits from McDonald's. Like go to McDonald's, get 5 sausage and biscuits, and that's what I ate throughout the day, every single day, for like at least half the internship. So for a good 6 months.
How did you adapt to driving yourself up there?
Oh, it was fine. Oh no, it was terrible. Sacramento is the worst place to drive in the United States per capita. So it's horrible, like literally accidents every single day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you know how to drive, you're fine. It's just you're
it's
gonna
the difference driving in Mississippi and driving up there though.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I would say the worst place to drive is like New York, and like that was. Anyway.
You been there before too?
Yeah, I've been everywhere on the East Coast.
Yeah, I know you did. You did that at high school, so you know,
yeah. But like when you live in DC, like everywhere else is like a train ride to California was like, I mean to New York is like 4 or 5 hours, you know. So, but like the difference in living in California versus Mississippi was like you don't sweat. Like I was there for over a year. I only sweat one time, and it's because I was running. Like you just don't sweat out there. And I know that seems like a simple thing, but when you live in humidity down here, you go up there, you can really appreciate the ability to go outside and not need undershirts, not need to bring a towel with you. You know, you can go a long distance and be fine.
Did it rain more than 10 times while you was up there?
Rain?
Did it rain more than 10 times?
More than 10? Probably not. Now, like in the springtime, April time, like around this time of the year, yeah, it did rain a few times, but it wasn't like pouring rain, you know?
Yeah. We might see 2 weeks full of rain down here.
Right. Like these last few days they've been having like Category 5 storms and all that. Like you wouldn't hear about that in California. The worst thing is like the fires.
Yeah.
But even then, I was lucky enough to be in Sacramento where we didn't have that. It wasn't directly affecting us. It was more of like this happened miles out of the way, and you may see smoke in the air, that kind of thing. So I was in a lucky city to be in. But it wasn't really like a big culture shock to me because DC was the culture shock. Like, everything is just different. Sacramento was more of like I've seen different and I've been able to adapt to it. So it wasn't as big a jump that way as it was going to DC the first time.
Okay, so let's just straight to your business. Tell us how you got that started. What made you want to be an entrepreneur and how did you get started?
Well, if I'm being honest, I really wouldn't even call myself an entrepreneur just yet, just because I'm also dependent on other sources of income in order to help myself out. But obviously, those jobs I'm also working by myself. So anyway,
solopreneur, entrepreneur, it's all one and the same.
Right. That came. I would say it came organically. It was an accumulation of since middle school going to those what do they call them in middle school, like those dances, formals. Yeah. Like going to formal, always carrying a camera with me. Going out places, recording things, you know, just kind of being of our generation because, you know, we grew up with the beginning of Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So being media savvy.
Yeah, I believe that we are social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's a talk in itself. But yeah, truly, we are because we shape what it is. And I think just kind of having the tools to make that happen since I was younger. And not really knowing that like I like it that much, and then realizing like, oh, I really like doing this, and now I'm actually kind of good at it. Helped me to want to do that for a long time, and so I got into cameras and videos, and again like writing and film and all that. And once I had gone to different places and worked in those areas, I was like, I can take this knowledge, because working in California at the theater, we got worked to the bone so much that by the time we were done, we all felt like we could go and like have our own theater. Now we're gonna do that, probably not, but we felt we were knowledgeable and capable of doing that. And so taking what I had learned from all these different experiences had made me feel that I could have my own company because I felt like I was knowledgeable enough to do that. And it took some time to really figure out like what I wanted to do. Biggest thing was like just coming up with a name, honestly. But once I did that, I got my LLC, and I was like, I'm going to have this media company, and we're just going to see where it goes.
But you know, some people say it's too tough. They gotta go. If you're in Mississippi, you gotta go spend $53 on the LLC. You gotta go get an EIN number, register with Secretary of State, do all this other stuff. Now then, once I got it, I don't know if I can lose $53 if this don't work out.
Don't make me do this.
You know, everybody got an excuse.
Don't make me do this.
And I believe everybody should have a business, but you know, there's just some people out here just say, well, what about? Oh, then you have to go get cameras, learn how to edit, go pay for software. Oh, so you invest in yourself. So you telling me to invest in yourself?
I invested in what I was passionate about, and yes, I invested in myself. I think that people who say that, and this is just Vern's opinion, this is just my opinion. I believe that people who say that it's too hard to do this or it takes too long to do this kind of thing, you just shouldn't be doing that. Or that's just not for you. Like if someone were to see me and say like, you know, I see you got your own business, but like I couldn't do that, like that takes too much time, or like I don't want to learn how to work a camera and all that kind of stuff, then don't. You know, you said you think everyone should have a business. I don't think that. I think that there are people who they're really good at working for other people. And I think that if that's what you are really good at, then you do that because that's how you are going to have a happy and successful life. But if you are made to have your own company and you really don't like being told what to do, then you start your business. And that's me. Like, I don't like being told what to do, which is why I travel so much, because I felt like I could listen to my own voice and do all those kind of things. And that's why I started my own business. But yeah, I invested in myself and did what I felt that I needed to do.
Yeah. But with that being said, being an entrepreneur, ain't nobody over telling you, hey, from 8 to 12, you doing this. From 12 to 1, you gonna take the lunch, and then from 1 to 5, you go do this.
Right.
And then they ain't give you no set tasks to do. So how do you stay productive?
It's tough. It's tough because, not because of being lazy or anything like that. It's tough because you want to do so much with every waking hour that you have. And you got to realize that, yes, it's great to have that energy or that ambition to go forward and to do as much as you can. But also, I believe that it's important to realize that you also have this day that is within a week. So you have also 7 days of the week to work things out, which is also within like a 4-week month.
Yeah.
So like you have time is essentially something to always keep in mind, so that you don't become overwhelmed. I think scheduling is important for me. Like I know it's not so much as like I need to do, like my priorities are like what I need to do for myself to get myself going. And if I don't, my morning routine, like we talked about earlier, was like I get up in the morning, work out, and if I don't work out, I do my breakfast, check my emails, look at my daily tasks. Like all of that is just naturally what I do. Like before I had a business, first thing I did was check my emails when I got up in the morning. So that's just something that I've always done. So I keep that going, and once I warm up like that, I can go out through the day. Whether it's like the first thing I need to do is make some calls to businesses, the first thing I need to do is check out some follow-up emails that I may have, or I need to go ahead and start working on mapping out a project that we need to do. Like whatever comes next will come, as long as I have prepared myself for that day.
Okay, so now tell me about the grind and the hustle of it. Tell me how you get started. Tell me a day in the life of Lee.
Day in the life of Lee. It's kind of insane. It started to, I've come down a little bit just because we've only been open since February, but I've been working on projects since July. So we've been going for a little while. But a typical day would be wake up in the morning, eat my breakfast, check my emails, send out emails, and by sending out emails, it will be a list of emails I've made the night before, so I'll schedule them out. It's very specific, and that's a very important thing. Like I don't do the whole general like, hey, would you like our service, and send it to like 300 people. I literally like look at these 300 companies, and I tailor the email towards them, and I send out about when I first started out, I was sending out 50 emails a day. Yeah, 50 emails a day to people in the morning time. So that's me talking to 50 businesses. And so after those emails go out, I immediately start looking at other companies. And if I find a company that I really, really, really like, I'll call them, talk to them a bit, put us out there that way. And then after the conversation, I send out more emails like that. After I'm done with emails, I take a break. So it's probably around 11 or 12. I'm doing this. And by taking a break, I mean I may look at some videos that we've done in the past, to see what we can take from that to help with a different project. If we're working on a project, I'll look at ways to improve the idea for that project. So storyboarding, things like that. Call the person that I'm working with, text the person that I'm supposed to be working with for a project to kind of get that going. So taking a break is basically just talking to people.
Yeah.
And then lunch comes and I eat my food. While I'm eating food, I'll watch a video or watch a show or something. And from that show, I may get a couple ideas, so I just kind of jot down ideas. I kind of jot down ideas throughout the day. And then after that, I also have a second job at Mississippi State, so I'll probably go into work for them if I'm not already at my office at the time, and I'll start doing that actual work for them. And while I do that work, I actually Uber drive. So it's like I'm working, then I'm gonna get a call, so I'll go out and then come back and keep working like that. And I'll do that for a bit until maybe 5, sometimes 4, and then I'll go home and I'll take a good break, like a solid hour of doing absolutely nothing related to business, whether that be like listening to a video or like a book, audio book, watching a video or cooking some food. May or may not eat, if I'm being realistic. Like I may cook the food, but I may not eat until like 9 or 10 o'clock because I'll probably start writing at that time, like working on a personal project that I'm working on around 6 or 7, just kind of writing something. And homework will come into play at some point. And then I do a little bit of homework, just being honest, like a little bit of homework. And then it's like 10 o'clock. If I have not eaten my food, I'll eat my food, warm it up and eat it. And then I watch videos again and then I go to sleep.
And life will leave.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a lot of screen time, I will say, which is unhealthy, but it's needed for the kind of work that I do.
I found that out too. There's some say
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and just that's why I was actually kind of got back to reading physical books and listening to audio books rather than just watching so many videos and stuff because you can get glued. And then knowing me, I had to pull out the leads and stuff from my real estate calls. Cause I really like to get between 2 to 250 a day.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure I'm at least getting 2 to 250 a day, calling them, giving them a list straight, doing what I gotta do, then calling. Then just if they don't answer, I gotta go text everybody that didn't answer, let them know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a house, if they were to sell and all this. Just a whole process. You'll be able to easily be on the computer 8 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's a part of it, you know.
So what would you tell somebody that's just starting? So how could they start it? What to do? What are some steps to do?
I would say, you mean like in media or just starting a business?
So media.
Just media?
So somebody's trying to be the next media, just the next big media, trying to be the next Disney.
If you're trying to be the next Disney, I would say lower your expectations.
No, I thought something put the expectations to the roof. I'll be bigger than Disney.
Because there's something to keep in mind. Okay, this is kind of going on a tangent, but it's something to keep in mind because I understand that goal personally. But the thing that's different between now and being a Disney is that Disney was the pioneer. You know, that's why HBO Max is so popular now because HBO was here way before Hulu and Netflix and all of them. So that's why they have an intimate connection with IMAX and like actual movie theaters, and they're getting shows like that. Like they started running, you know. So being a Disney is a hard goal to have, but being as successful as Disney is more than achievable, I think. And I would say to someone who wants to be maybe the Disney of our generation, I would say you got to start quickly understanding the importance of business in a creative world. Yeah. Because if you want to be as big as Disney, you need to understand media. You need to understand like the importance of a camera. Maybe not even how to use a camera, but the importance of media, the importance of photography, the importance of marketing and things like that. And understand that you cannot do all of that yourself. You probably could, but you can't do it well. You can do one of those things really good, but you can't do all of it very great. And so you need to build a team. And with that team, put in place people who are very, very, very good at their job and who can uphold the integrity of what you want to build. And from there, you grind, you work, you create your own projects, you work on other people's projects, but you don't stop. If you slow down for a little bit, and I know I said earlier, like I calmed down a bit from doing 50 emails a day, but it's because I've started to get answers from these people and I want to work with them, so I have to give them my attention. What's going to benefit me is getting someone else to send out those other emails so that I'm only talking to the people who are interested in working with us. So with you, I would say, like, you just put yourself out there, continue to do it for hundreds. I don't mean like a week, I mean a day, like hundreds of people a day, because you have to work. Because there's so many people who have a phone, so many great phones that are better than cameras, that people think they're better than cameras, and they can compete against you. You know, a company may be like, I want a video, but I wouldn't mind using my niece to make the video with her iPhone 12. You know, people do that, and that undercuts the value of media to a degree. But you have to understand that that is a real issue, and you have to create a solution or sell yourself to where you and your product is better than theirs, and you just gotta do that, and you'll figure it out. I don't think there's one way to do it. I know for a fact that there is not one way to do it, but the main thing to do is to not stop. You have to keep working, because when you slow down, someone else is gonna pass you. You're gonna miss out on an opportunity, and you may get another opportunity, but it may be like in 3 or 4 weeks, and by then you may have lost faith in what you were doing. So you gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going.
You just said something that was so key. This is exactly what business is: solutions. It's all it is, solutions.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you got a problem, what are you gonna do? You about to go find a business to solve that problem.
Yep.
So if you get hurt, most likely you going to the doctor.
Yeah.
The hospital is a business.
Yep.
So just like you get hungry, where you gonna go? You can go eat. You can go in some way, form, or fashion. You can go find something to eat at some type of store. If you're a farmer,
Yeah.
you still gotta get seeds and stuff. So in some way, form, or fashion, you gotta go
Yeah.
find a solution to your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you wanna, succeed in media or just with the business, you have to be the problem solver.
Yeah.
And just kind of figure it out. And again, like, media is just so tough. Because there's just so many companies out there, but at the same time, there are like only 3 or 4 major companies like a Disney or Warner Brothers, and they make the most money. They make more money than everyone else combined.
Yeah, they probably spend more money on marketing than you make.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's another important thing, is to not get enticed by the idea of making a quick buck. Do the work, because it helps you to get better. And if it's going to be a way for you to buy more equipment or things like that, like, you do that. I don't believe in the myth of like you can make anything great with just equipment you have. I believe you need to upgrade eventually, but I think it's also important to learn the skill and understand that money is a tool to help you to better your skills. So you want to get better with marketing, you need to spend some money in order to learn how to do it better, or to buy better software to make your marketing material more valuable or have a higher quality, or pay to have it on all of these social media sites. Like, you got to use money for that. Money is not just to pay your bills, it's also to help you move forward and maintain your business.
All right, so now let's pivot up to the last segment of the show. It's normally called a Fatal 4, but I'm gonna get Fatal 5 to you though.
Okay.
You burn.
All right, man.
So it's just normally 4 quick questions, but they're gonna be 5 quick questions.
Okay.
You can honest answers, nothing, too major. But
Honest
it really
answer?
is though, but
Okay.
we're gonna say it's just major.
Honest
All right.
answers. Okay.
Honest answers. If you walked outside today and somebody cut you a check for $1 million, what would you do?
I would ask them why they're giving me a check for $1 million.
You don't ask no question, you just take the check. Just don't ask no question, just take the check.
Oh, okay. What I do with that $1 million?
What would you do with your $1 million?
Oh, half of it right off the bat is going to my index funds. So I just don't touch it. I don't need it anyway. And then the other 500 would go towards buying a studio, like a nice little setup. The equipment that I know I want to have, and the rest of it Nah, because I wouldn't even buy property just yet. I'll probably just go ahead and invest the rest of it. Yeah. Probably do something for my sister or something. But yeah, I'll just use it to make the business better. Probably pay off the rest of my insurance, and like my car is fine, but yeah, put it towards the business.
How you gonna come here and give me a top 3 answer all the time off the jump? Just with the
Oh.
index fund. You said you're gonna put half of it in the
Yeah.
index fund. They're gonna return you 7 to 8% annually. You know,
Yeah.
over the course of life of it.
Yeah.
So you telling me basically, if you get 8% on it, $500,000, you be getting 40,000 a year just off that? You know, that's some people's salary, right? So you getting 40,000 just make your money work.
Yes. Yeah.
How dare you come over here and get one of the best answers the show I've ever got?
Well,
I mean, I need to go get my marks so we can break this down. You gonna put out that much game?
Well,
I mean, you just really
I don't really know if it's even game. I just think it's a smart move because I naturally just kind of got into stocks because I know I say I don't care about money, but there was a part of me that was like I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, just
I
kind
mean,
of be secure.
everybody.
So
I'm trying to go make my Jeff Bezos.
Exactly. So I learned about stocks a bit, and I realized that for me, I am okay taking risks with stocks, but I also want to be set with stocks. So I know my index funds and all that. That's my set money. I know it's going to be for sure profitable, so I don't have to gamble with that. And then like with you know, I wouldn't call myself a day trader, but I do buy certain things in order to make money sometimes. But I'm okay with losing that money because that's not my personal. That's my personal money that I don't need for anything else. So for example, like if I eat fast food, so if I just don't eat fast food, like that money that would go towards fast food for a week, I can put that towards like a stock or something like this. Let's play a game essentially. Yeah. And I'm okay with losing that because I would have spent that on something anyway.
Yeah. So that's a big thing for me. I had to, buy everything go out in the store and buy. I got to own a piece of that company.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep me disciplined. So that's the main reason I had to go get VOO, get that index fund, ETF. So I had to go get that.
Yeah.
So that's why I got at least 500 companies I own a piece in.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going nowhere on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I invest in it. I have to invest in places that I own.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that makes sense because if you're gonna use it, then you have some kind of respect for it to a degree. So it makes sense to like. I mean, it's like rooting for your sports team. You go get the jersey. You go to a game or something. So it's like you root for Tesla, and I root for Tesla. So I buy into Tesla.
Yeah. You got a Tesla? You get one? You get one?
Yeah, eventually, but not yet.
What do you think about Elon Musk?
I think he he'll be known as the greatest mind of the century.
Okay. All right. Next question. If you can go network or link with any one person that ever walked the earth, who would you go network with?
Oh, that's tough. Network with any person that ever, dead or alive?
Dead or alive, that ever walked the earth.
Network with. Gosh. That's tough. I would say Stan Lee. I'm such a huge fan of Stan Lee.
Okay.
Such a huge fan of Marvel. But he is someone who did it right. Other people involved got it wrong. He went bankrupt and then started another company and succeeded again. So he's like been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
And I would love to and he's like a personal hero of mine. So I would have loved to have met him and also to become friends with him and build some kind of relationship. Definitely Stan Lee.
Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. All right. So the next question would be, if you can choose, so go out here and get $500,000 straight up cash now, or you can get a revolving credit card. You gotta pay it back, but you get that same $500 limit every month. Which one would you choose and why?
I was gonna show my ignorance. I'll probably get the credit card because
That's actually pretty smart. Smart.
It growing up in the environment that we grew up in Brookhaven, there are certain things that happen to kids that hurt their credit, and So
I definitely know about it. We got other stories about some people's parents go out and, put some bills in their name or do some different stuff.
Yeah, which is why it's so important to have financial literacy. And anyway, but I would do that, one, to help my personal credit score, and two, because I just feel like you get it back in a way, because if I were to have just like 50,000, if I just have $50, that's my money, and I spend it, and I'm like, I pay myself back, I'm not gonna pay myself back.
Yeah.
But if it's like a credit card and it's like I don't want to be charged that interest, I'm gonna like pay it back, which in turn helps me, especially in the long run. So yeah, I think a credit card helps people to be a little more accountable if they care about like paying bills.
Yeah, but you just don't know how powerful that was, though. You said it was ignorant, but that's pretty smart. Think about it. Would you rather go outside and get ride with your money or with the bank's money? I'd definitely rather go lose the bank money rather than my money.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna play around with some money, I'm just gonna play with y'all money.
Yeah.
I need my money to stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I go out here and I go mess up, say, go out here, start a business, got $500,000 to do it with, big fail. Next month, big fail again. Now I'm $1 million in the hole.
Yeah.
So I'm about to go Chase, Bank of America, City, wherever I'm at. Hey, I'm $1 million in the hole. I don't know what I'm about to do, but I need some help.
Yeah.
Nah, hey, let's get a team here. Let's get a plan together.
Yeah.
Let me do that with my money. They about to show me the dough so fast.
Yeah.
But when you messing up with their money, they have to come figure something out.
Yeah.
Now let's see your business plan. Let's see what you're doing wrong real quick.
Exactly. That's leverage.
Yeah. So definitely keyword leverage.
Yeah.
So that's another way you use money as a tool.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I mean, that's, especially when you start your own business, eventually, I think, especially for what I'm going into, like, you will have to talk to investors in order to, like, help you keep going or, like, to get to that next level. And, it's key for them to see your vision, and believe in your vision, and to show, like, you can put collateral, like, you can put money into what we're doing because we will go above and beyond that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So definitely, always use OPM, other people's money, or BTM, the bank money.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all gotta use some. Nobody here risking your money like that.
No.
Especially if you use leverage. And then you can even get rewards for stuff. So if you go swipe, if you get 5% back, you go swipe $1 million, 5%, you get 50,000 back.
Yeah.
So you basically got 50,000. Oh,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing something anyway you're gonna do. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
grocery shopping. You gotta go get groceries. Gotta get some food. Go out there and get some cash back.
Yeah.
And then the fourth question would be for you: if you can go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
18-year-old self. Good Lord. I'm 23 now. That was a long time ago. 18-year-old self. I would say, don't take life so seriously. And listen to yourself. Because it's taken me years to understand how listening to your gut will take you so far versus listening to other people's opinions on what you should do. And I know that may seem weird because I did like travel to so many different places, but it was a lot of indecisiveness. Like me going to DC was because of somebody else. And had I gone for my own reason at that time, then maybe I would have had a different, viewpoint of certain things. So I would say 18-year-old Vern, like, listen to yourself, trust your gut, and live with your decisions and not be, not fall victim to other people's decisions for you.
Okay. And then this last question, you already kind of hit on who you gonna put in there, but who is your top 5 people to do media? Like, who top 5 people to do media? Some people that you really like, you looked up to as big inspirations.
Spike Lee for sure. Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Stan Lee because of what he did, like literally creating the world. And then Spike Lee because of what he's done for like our community out there in Brooklyn and New York and all that. Like it's just great, and he's still going.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry.
Most definitely Tyler Perry.
And I was a fan of Tyler Perry growing up, but then I was not a fan of his movies later on. But then I became I became a fan again of him because he always was on the up and up, like always. So he's very, very good. I would say Christopher Nolan. I enjoy his movies. I enjoy that he has a psychological approach to movies. I like that. And fifth, I would say Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay.
Because he taught the importance of discussing very complicated things in a general sense to where anyone could understand it, kids obviously. And I think it's very important, or it's a testament to intelligence when you can know something very complicated or sophisticated and be able to explain that to any level of person.
Okay. And I know a lot of people just saying, Trey, when you gonna finally give us yours? You always answer everybody else this. When you gonna finally give us yours?
Yeah, what's your top five?
So I'm gonna go through the whole list because they been killing me in the comments and everybody. Hey, look, you always talking about where you always choose credit. You know what I'm saying? Why not the cash? So I gotta go through math, let them break them down.
Okay.
So if I walked outside today and I got cut $1 million check, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go plan.
Okay.
Gotta have $1 million plan if you got $1 million. Because you can't just go get $1 million and not expect to go, flip it. I heard T.I. tell most people when they got their stimulus check, how dare you get your stimulus check and let some 13, 14-year-old girl out hustle you. She can go flip that. She can go buy some lashes, some wigs, some frontals, some type of, she's gonna start a boutique or something.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there, get some clothes, get some hair. She's gonna go turn that $1,200 she initially got. Then she's gonna come out here, go flip that, go make that to 5, and that 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So I gotta turn that $1 million up into $100 million, and that $100 million up to $1 billion.
Yeah.
And just keep it up right like that. So first plan, and then I gotta go invest. What about some properties? And then eventually, once I just get the money coming in like I want it, I'll probably go buy, the Lakers. Go buy a couple chicks.
Okay.
And then, I can say LeBron pay for me. Probably go, LeBron, they turn their own team too. I'll give you a couple lessons. I gotta talk to LeBron, favorite athlete.
If you could teach LeBron anything.
LeBron actually learned a lot from him. He ain't replied to me, so I'm waiting. He acting Hollywood, Nancy's up there. We'll give you a pass right now, Brian. Okay. Brian, come get on the show. I'm telling you, Mel, Rich, all y'all, come get on the show, man. Y'all playing. Everybody tagged them in there. I need like 1 million tags for them. If we get 1 million tags, I guarantee Brian to get on the show. Yes, sir. Who would I go network with? If I can network with one person, I gotta really go take it back. I'll say just because he was a great leader and I feel like I learned so much from him, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King be the person I gotta do. Just because the influence he had and just what type of leader he was. So I gotta say Martin Luther King. Then, if I could choose, if I get $500,000 cash or $500,000 credit, I'm gonna say credit. Because like I said, if I go lose my money on the street, I can't get that back. If I go lose the bank money, worst things worse, I got an LLC, I got a business, go file bankruptcy, go start a new one, I'm right back. So I don't even be that. So think about how long you have to save and really work so hard to get $500,000 versus if I can go get that from the bank, I can go take a risk, go try to make something work out. If it don't work out, file bankruptcy, start over again. Then I'll be all right. And then just say even if it was on the personal side, 7 years worth of bad credit for $500,000 don't seem like a bad day for me. And then if you're not a fish credit, you can get off the front end. So you go to the business side, you'll be right back in business. Personal side, go find somebody from fish credit, and you'll be right back in business for yourself. And then the fourth one, if I can go talk to my 18-year-old self, I definitely go tell him, bet on yourself, believe in yourself, and the world's the limit. And then for me, my top 5 business, since I'm not just a media genius, I'm gonna say top 5 business. I'm gonna really take my time and break this down. Top 5 business people ever. So I'm gonna definitely, people might not like this, but I gotta put Jay-Z in there. They say he not just a real businessman, but he is. You know what I'm saying? Look what he did. He came up through rap. But now, look what all you got. Just from,
making investments
Yeah,
and stuff.
looking at his investments, he got different type of alcohols, different type of liquors and stuff. Also, look with his sports management, record label,
Yeah,
owns some real estate.
he's
Yes.
up there.
He's up
I
there.
mean, he's a billionaire for a reason.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? If people don't understand, you have to make $1 million 1,000 times to be a billionaire. Think about how hard that is to make $1 million 1,000. How hard is it to make $1,000 1,000 times?
Yeah.
So just thinking about that. Mark Cuban, I definitely miss him. Mark Cuban. Had to go put him up there. Warren Buffett, great investor, started a couple business, big on real estate. Max Maxwell, most of y'all don't know him. I'm gonna say Max Maxwell / Don Peoples. They're two real estate guys, but I'm gonna put them as one. I'm gonna put them tied. And this last one, I'm gonna say Walt Disney.
Yeah. From what we know, I know a lot about Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Walt Disney that's why I say it's so tough to say that you want to be the next Disney.
Yeah.
Because people like him and like a Jeff Bezos or like a Elon Musk, like they just literally think different.
Yeah.
And they have so much belief in themselves that to other people may look like arrogance.
Yeah.
But like they have so much belief that they literally change the world, you know?
Yeah, but you know, most people don't even know like the name you're talking about. So,
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Who them two old men is?
Okay.
You know. And then we get to talk about the field like Steve Jobs and all them, and
Yeah.
then that people be real lost.
Oh, honestly,
Yeah,
that's
so,
sad.
yeah.
Dang, because
Cause you asked me,
he died in like 2007 or
yeah, if
something.
you asked me 7-8 years ago, I wouldn't know none of them guys neither, so I couldn't be mad at them. But now, definitely go look them up. Hey, this is gonna show where I am Lee. My boy Vernell Allen. Actually got y'all a special feature at the end he about to get to y'all.
No?
Yeah. I'm gonna let you go to give you handles and everything. First, go let know where to catch that on social.
Oh, okay.
How much you can charge if they have needed like a video shot or some pictures took. Are you available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, parties?
Well, as far as the handles go, you can find me on social media at am.lee_. The business is Lee's Creative Studio. That's on Instagram, on Facebook, and Twitter, and TikTok. Website is leescreativestudio.com. And videos, if you need like music videos or like any kind of personal video, I know we're doing a graduation shoot coming up. Videos start at $350 a day, which is a good rate.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I'm
gonna
not,
put a time frame on that kind of. Some people abuse it. They're about to go shoot a whole movie and get you to do all that
right,
stuff.
right.
So,
And this is mainly for like music videos and like personal videos that are like about 3 minutes long. For any bigger project, it's budget to budget based. As far as photo shoots, if it's like the general person wanting something, we say like 150. You get about 30 to 40 pictures. Use at your discretion. 1 or 2 outfit changes. Like it's very specific, but in general, it's about starts at 150, and then we kind of move up from there. Headshots, of course, are less than that, about like 60 to 70 bucks for headshots. We're mainly moving into the corporate world now, commercial world now. So those things are a little different. But again, for the regular person or the artist that wants anything, those are kind of where the prices start, and then they kind of go up from there. But we do everything that comes in media. I know that's kind of hard for people to think about, but whether it's like brochures or video clips, GIFs or GIFs, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's GIFs. I think we've killed that debate.
Okay.
Any kind of media, if it uses a camera in any kind of way, like we do that. So yeah, that's it.
All right, so you can give me some 50 pictures, some t-shirts, video. No, I want a documentary done about 2 hours long about my whole life, start to finish. Like some pictures, I need to change like 10 outfits though. Then I need you to actually go shoot me a couple commercials.
Yeah, that's gonna cost a lot. And what that can be is the documentary would depend on depend on the budget, but we wouldn't start a 2-hour documentary.
Yeah, but I already know how I want to play me though.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Michael B. Jordan to play me. Then I'm gonna come over here, and then for my childhood, let me think who a good child star right now. I just got some people. I actually know some local people from Brookhaven I can get. You know,
Okay, I
some
mean
family.
that's cool, but I think something that's a little misconception is that when it comes to price and things like that, the budget that you have, essentially it all goes to the company because we are the ones who go and get the people. Even if you say that's who you want, we got to go get them for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna wear, the props and all that kind of stuff, we go and get that for
This is
you.
all be my own merch.
Just your own stuff?
Yeah, my own merch.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it's probably
you
my
provide
last
that.
episode wear anything but legendary
good.
Visions merch.
It's gonna cost a few grand.
Oh, this is just free grand. Oh, I should have been up living more just free.
What, it's gonna cost you $100,000?
Yeah, you gotta go get Michael B. Jordan and get out other stuff and.
I just said a few grand.
Yeah,
A few is not 3,000. A few is like.
It was like 3 to 5.
Nah, in the movie world, a few grand is like 100,000. It's like it's up there.
Yeah,
Especially like not even just paying, because it can be so much. But essentially, when you get famous people, you don't actually just pay their salary, but you have to pay to use their likeness.
Yeah.
So that's something to take into consideration. But yeah, something like that would cost you a lot. If you want to do like promos and marketing and all that, we do have marketing campaigns that start at about $500 a month, and we do like 6 month to a year deals. So again, those are kind of like starter prices and very affordable. With those, you get a month, you get about 5 to 10 pictures that you can use a month or throughout the duration of the month, and you also get promo videos that you can use.
Okay.
And yeah, this kind of go. They can be a month-to-month basis, but we typically say that it's best to do like 6 months because that encapsulates like seasons, holidays, anything spontaneous that may happen. We can like kind of plan ahead for those kind of things. So shoot something for Christmas in July when you pay, and that way when the time comes, you have that. But something may happen, like maybe they open up a Macy's parade. So you can actually pay for us to like go to New York and like film the parade using your brand and that kind of thing. So it all depends essentially on what you want. But yeah, starting prices for things like that start at about $500 a month.
All right. So what about the the girls out there? She just thinks she's so pretty. She wants a free shoot.
And she is pretty and she is beautiful and she's not going to get a free shoot.
Oh,
if you want a free shoot, then you ask your friend or you find a mirror and you do it yourself. But if you want something that's professionally made with good quality and you get a high quantity, I would say, then you come to us. And again, that's for the regular person. We'll start at $150 with about 30 to 40 pictures that you get, all edited, of course. You don't have to pay for the editing, that's included in the price. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much where we start.
But you know, your cousin from down the road, your homeboy from back in the day, man, I know Vern ain't gonna show me no 150. I need it for about 20.
No, and that's a hard thing.
Yeah, I definitely know about that.
It's not hard because of the pricing. It's hard because you want people to understand that
You're a business.
it's a business, and
You're
that's
not
why.
going to Walmart and ask for discount on your groceries. You're not going out here when you go buy them J's. You ain't calling them Nike. Hey, Nike, I need a discount.
Yeah, you're not asking me like to go buy you some food because you
Yeah.
have water at home. You know.
Yeah.
It's very different, and that's why I think that's probably why, like in business, I go by Lee. You know, I go by
Yeah.
my middle name like that. That's it. And then outside of business, I'm Vern, I'm Uncle Vern, Vernell, whatever. But in business, it's Lee. And like when we're talking business, like I have to charge you how much I would charge, or that hurts me.
Yeah.
You know. Now, our discounts applied sometimes, like when we're first starting out.
I mean, it's always like special
always
promos,
special
but it ain't just,
But if it's costing 150, you're not about to pay 50.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna. No. Yeah. No.
They're gonna pay you your worth.
Exactly, and that's another important thing for people who want to do things with your life or like do things in business. Like, know your values, know your worth, and you stick to that. And in the long run, people will respect you for sticking to your prices versus trying to make a quick buck.
Yep.
So yeah.
Hey, all y'all is going out here to, I ain't gonna say the company name, but these luxury brands, most of them ain't had no discount ever. So just think about that.
Yeah.
All right. So I am Lee.
Yes.
Let me see what my closing question gonna be. I need to get something tough. I need to
Okay.
make you think. I am Lee. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take something about you just read this book by David Goggins. He talked about this. I know he talks about this a lot. switching. He's not having multiple personalities, but switching, becoming a different person. So you say some people call you Lee, some people call you Vern, some people call you Vernell, Alan, Uncle Vern. Who is that one guy that just who is that go to?
Oh, like of my different.
Yeah, just like because everybody got a different name for you.
It's Vern. Like
Vern.
you know.
So you're most in tune with Vern.
Yeah, Vern is. He's the every person guy.
Yeah.
Cool guy, easy to get along with, funny guy, laid back, nonchalant. Yeah, very friendly, very good.
Who's Vernell?
Vernell is that kid who grew up in the projects, who wants to be or thinks he puts pressure on himself. Vernell, is very formal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tightwad, I would say.
So now, who is Uncle Vern?
Uncle Vern's your uncle, man.
Uncle Vern.
He's a good uncle, I would say.
Been here 10 generations. Ain't never going.
Yeah, been around. He can give you some real good advice without even trying. Naturally a dad kind of guy without even trying. Real friendly, goes out, has a good time, but doesn't overdo it. Never overdoes it. But you always have a good time. Like, that's Uncle Vern.
So who is Lee?
Lee? Lee is someone who has a plan bigger than himself. He's similar to Vernell in the sense that, he wants to be formal, he wants to be professional. But Lee understands that he has time to grow. So he's going to dedicate all of his time to growing. And that's kind of who he is.
All right. And the last question for the day. Well, tell everybody what's your next move. What can we expect to see in 5 years?
In
we're gonna hold
5
you to it.
years?
We're gonna keep you accountable.
Wow. In 5 years, you can expect Lee's Creative Studio to be one of the more notable companies in the U.S. specifically, and definitely in Mississippi. Probably the number one media company, production company in Mississippi.
Okay. All right, so that's been all the questions for you. Now, tell me, what can me in my community do to help you out?
What can you do to help me out? Hire me.
Hire
Take my
you.
services.
All right. How are you taking services?
Just spread the word. If you've seen our stuff, LeesCreativeStudio.com, Lees Creative Studio, Instagram is where we're real heavy. Like, if you see our stuff, like it, share it. Tell us what you think about it. If you don't like it, tell us why you don't like it. That kind of constructive criticism is always welcome, and that comes from me being in theater where you get that kind of stuff. But just sharing, being part of the community, and being part of my community. That's pretty much it. I wouldn't necessarily say I beg for handouts, but I would say keep us in mind.
Yeah.
I always keep us in mind.
Hey, Legendary Visionaries, definitely everybody go follow all his handles.
Yes.
Definitely y'all can come. If y'all ain't doing nothing else, I know most people doing a little video. I'm definitely gonna send them over some of my videos to edit and do some